Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you our Empire Builder route guide. All right, we rode the Empire Builder hopping on in Seattle and took it all the way across the country to Chicago, Illinois. It gave us access to some major cities, some of America's great wilderness along the way, and it was a very fun ride.
The Empire Builder is a train that is not equipped with Wi-Fi, so you will not be able to do work, Zoom calls, all that kind of thing on this train, which is a little bit of a shame because you're going to be on there for a few days, and you may want to do some work. The good news is when you're near the major cities, you will have cell coverage, but when you're kind of out in the wilderness, which you will be on this train for a while, you will not have even cell coverage. So keep that in mind as you are traveling, that it may be hard to be connected to people on the Empire Builder. But the good thing about it is it does have an observation car.
Yes, which is where you'll be spending your time when you don't have a cell service or Wi-Fi. You'll be sitting in the observation car enjoying the gorgeous views along the way. On the Empire Builder, it's not necessarily known for the greatest views, but we found it to be really spectacular along the route. So we did spend a lot of time in the observation car.
Yeah, I thought it was really better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
The dining car on the Empire Builder is active, and that is for people in the sleeper room accommodations. They do serve hot meals in there, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and pretty good meals. We have a whole video on showing you all the meals on the channel, so we'll link that down below. We also have a list of all the meals and show you actually the menu on our blog. So if you want to really see what you're going to be able to eat on the Empire Builder, check out the blog. We'll put a link to that down below as well.
Yes, and speaking of food, not only do they have the dining car, but the cafe is also available on the Empire Builder, and the cafe is available to all passengers on the train.
Yeah, and the cafe also has warm food. You can get pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, mac and cheese, drinks, snacks, all that kind of stuff available in the cafe, and you can eat that. You can't actually eat it in the cafe right now, but you can eat that up in the observation car.
Yes.
You can eat it
at your seat
in coach,
or in your room.
If you're in a sleeper car, you can go down there and get something too. So that is a extra charge though if you're in a sleeper car, whereas the dining car meals are included. These are not.
Right.
And on the Empire Builder, you can check your baggage, which is good because you're going to be on there for so long. Both ends of the train, you can check Seattle and Chicago. So we totally recommend that you do that because you do not want to have to keep track of all these bags for essentially 3 days.
Yeah, definitely, because not all of the Amtrak stations allow you to check baggage, but thankfully at the King Street station and at Union Station, you're able to check your bags, so that's great.
Yeah. The Empire Builder is a Superliner train, so you're going to be equipped with Superliner tickets and Roomettes, etc. There are several different ticket options on the Empire Builder. The first, of course, is coach, and coach is a good way to go if you want to save some money. The tickets are not very expensive, and the seats are very comfortable. Maybe you've never been on an Amtrak train. They are not like an airplane. They will recline quite a bit more than an airplane seat would recline. So we have a whole video on what it's like to sleep overnight in coach. We've done that, and not too bad for one night. 2 nights may have been a little more because you're a little bit tired that second day, but coach is definitely an option. Going up from there, you have the sleeper cars. So the smallest type of room you can get is a roomette, and that is a single, 2 people in that, and it's single beds, one on top of another, so you have a bunk bed situation, and that's a pretty tight room, and the person on top is going to be pretty tight, and there is no bathroom in the roomette on the Superliner. That's only on the Viewliner train. So if you've seen that type of bathroom in the roomette, not on this train. The bathroom and the showers on this train will be in your car, and you'll be sharing that with basically everyone else that has a sleeper a roomette in your car. So probably 8 to 12 people depending on how full it is. Up from there, you have a bedroom. And in the bedroom, it's twice the size of a roomette. Still has the upper and lower bunk bed situation though, but you do get a bathroom in your actual cabin. You don't have to share that with anybody, and it's just for you. So if that's important to you, you may want to step up to the bedroom. Up from there, the next one up is the family bedroom. And the family bedroom is the only cabin that you can sleep 4 people in, and you'll put 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. But it is the same size as the regular bedroom, and so they accomplish that by taking out the bathroom. You'll have no bathroom to yourself, and you'll be sharing the bathroom with the people who are in the roomettes in your car. And then the other type of accommodation you can get is the accessible bedroom, and those are all going to be on the lower level, and they will have an accessible bathroom in the actual cabin, but it still is the upper and the lower. So if you really want to sleep 2 people on the bottom level, the only way to do it is a family bedroom. Otherwise, you're going to have 1 person on top and 1 person on bottom. So we see people sometimes people do this. We've seen people who both want to sleep on the bottom, 2 roomettes during the BOGO sale, and they'll be like across the hall from each other, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting if that's an option if you want to sleep 2 people on the bottom. Otherwise, go for the family bedroom. We do recommend getting these on the buy one get one free sale. We have a video on that and a link to that about our blog. We've written all about the details, how much you'll save. But on average, you're going to save about half price. We paid $550 for our roomette on the Empire Builder, and the going rate at that time was about $1,000. So almost a 50% savings. Definitely worth it if you need to do the Empire Builder and you want to save a little bit of cash. That is what we recommend to do.
All right, guys, so some interesting stats and details about this train is you will be traveling about 2,206 miles from Seattle to Chicago, or Chicago to Seattle, whichever way you're going. It's going to take you about 46 hours to do that, and the train tops off at a speed of 79 miles per hour. Now, the average speed is really more about 50 miles per hour because, of course, there are speed limits in between, or if they're passing trains, sometimes they have to stop. So that average speed is a little bit lower than the top speed when they're running through kind of open fields and spaces where there aren't really speed limits on it.
Eating on the Empire Builder is pretty much a delight. I thought it was really good, and we ate most of our meals in the dining car, and they have a pretty good menu. It's the same menu for lunch and dinner, but at breakfast there's something different. What were some of your favorite things that they had on the menu?
Well, for lunch and dinner, I tried basically everything on the menu. Actually, I did try everything on the menu. Not necessarily on the Empire Builder, but I've had all of the meals on the menu for lunch and dinner. Like you said, they're the same. And you kind of have to pick and choose how much you want to eat, because the thing is that you don't just get the meal, you also get a roll and a salad and a dessert and your beverage. It's a lot of food. So you don't want to eat that much, obviously, for lunch and dinner. So you can always just tell the train attendant, hey, I only want the meal, or I only want this or that, whatever it is. And they can kind of cut, just cut back a little bit on waste of if you're not going to eat all the stuff that comes with the meal, right? There's so many options, and probably my 2 favorite meals were both a part of the vegan menu that they offer, which is very nice, and that was the enchiladas and the Asian noodle bowl. Those were basically my favorite. They were really tasty, I thought.
Yeah, I did find though that some of the meals were bigger than others.
Yes,
so,
yes, you're right.
So depending on which meal you get, it may not be enough food, but depending on if you
Right.
get one that's a big one or you get one that's a small one. So
Yes.
it just depends on what you ordered, and you'll have plenty of time on the Empire Builder to order most of them though. So that's definitely a positive. The
Yes.
cafe then, What do you think about the food in the cafe?
The cafe I thought was great. I was really surprised by how many options they have for warm food, and they also do serve some alcohol at the cafe, as well as obviously soft drinks, and you can get like snacks. So even though you get your meals included if you're in the sleeper car, which is where we were on the Empire Builder, if you want to snack in between meals or you just want something smaller, then you can go down to the cafe. You will have to purchase it in addition to what, the meals, but it was really, I think, a fair price for what they were charging there.
Yeah.
The other thing also, and this is not food related, but the other thing you can get at the cafe is also you can buy their comfort pack, which comes with the blanket and the earplugs and the mask and stuff on there too, which is also very helpful. So the cafe does have a lot to offer as well, and it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, the cafe does close when the attendant goes on breaks, and the attendant went on about 3 breaks or so on our entire ride. So just listen for the announcements, because they will let you know, hey, the attendant, I'm so and so, I'm about to go on break. If you want to get something from the cafe, you've got 30 minutes to come down here and get it, and then that way So they're not just going to close and not let you know ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful, I thought.
Yeah. And if you're a person that likes to snack kind of later at night, you have to kind of get that food ahead of time, because at about 10 o'clock at night or something, neither the dining car or the cafe would be open. So you'd either have to get your food ahead of time or have snacks with you in that case.
Yeah. Okay, so there are several notable major stations along the route of the Empire Builder. Starting out in Seattle, you're going to head over to Spokane, and then on to Whitefish and Fargo, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and ending up in Chicago. There are several states that you'll be passing through. As you'll note, you're starting out in the state of Washington, working your way over to Idaho and Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois.
The best views on the Empire Builder are to the north side of the train. So if you have a choice, or you can decide which side to sit on, definitely sit on the north. It is the side that is going to see Glacier National Park, which is probably the best thing you'll see. It is also going to see a lot of the Mississippi River, and surprisingly to us, we didn't know this, but you're going to see Puget Sound coming into Seattle or leaving Seattle, which was really quite a highlight for the trip.
It was. I was actually very surprised as we were leaving Seattle. I thought, ooh, this is beautiful. And then it just got prettier and prettier. And they did come over the speaker and say, oh, we're passing Puget Sound. It's like, oh, wow. I had no idea that we were going to be passing that. So we're kind of just passing it on to you so that you'll know to be sitting by a window so you can observe this, because it really was quite spectacular. And it was towards the evening as we were leaving, so it was just real pretty as we left and the sun was setting and rode out of there. So the views are absolutely amazing. You're going to see exactly why they call Montana Big Sky Country. That was beautiful. And like you mentioned, you'll be going through, you can actually get off in Whitefish for Glacier National Park. That's where a lot of people get off, rent a car, and drive up there. But you'll pass one of the entrances to the park down on that end, and then continue on and through, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Going through there is really cool as well. Just kind of seeing, all the big city views.
Yeah. I do need to mention that there are 3 stations that you can begin and end the Empire Builder on, because on top of Seattle and Chicago, you could also start or finish in Portland. And the train basically splits off in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
So if you're coming from Chicago, you'll get into Spokane, it'll split, and one train will go to Seattle, one will go to Portland. If you're going the other way, they'll meet up in Spokane and then go as one train the rest of the way across. So it does serve Seattle and Portland, but you can't go to both Seattle and Portland at the same time, on the same ride.
Okay.
So the Seattle station, which is the King Street station, is really a beautiful station, isn't it?
Yes, King Street Station is fantastic. The architecture is beautiful. It's just been recently renovated, and it's just a beautiful old station. Now, it doesn't have They didn't add any amenities that it didn't already have. So there is no Metropolitan Lounge at King Street Station, and there's nowhere to get food inside the station other than the vending machines. But the nice thing is it's very conveniently located right in Pioneer Square. So you can just walk outside, and really within like 100 feet of the station, you'll find several places where you can purchase food and just bring it right back to the station. The other thing that I really like about King Street Station is that if you have to do an overnight, either right before or right after your ride, there is a great hotel, which we've actually done a video review of right here on the channel, of the Embassy Suites. It's directly across the street. Like literally you walk out and it's the first thing that you're gonna see is the hotel. Just walk right across the street, take you 10 seconds and you're at your hotel. So that's really nice too.
Yeah, and that's a really amazing hotel. We really liked it. One of our favorite, probably, Amtrak hotels where you're going to stay at.
Yes.
And there is no car rental place right there at King Street Station. So you will have to figure out, if you're renting a car, how to do that.
Right.
And the airport is not nearby either. So you will need to figure out transportation. We rented a car about a half a mile away and kind of went to the national parks from there. But we ended up having to get an Uber to take us to the car rental the next day. Now, on the other end of this ride is Union Station in Chicago, and it's probably the best Amtrak station in the country.
It is, and it's actually the hub of so many of the Amtrak train routes. Either go through there or start there or end there. I mean, it's a flurry of activity when you walk in there. And the other really cool thing about it is it's a gorgeous station. You feel like you're, in an old movie when you walk in there, right?
Yep.
With your bags. And one also of the very best Metropolitan lounges that we've been in. It's a 2-story, 2 levels. Metropolitan Lounge, and it's absolutely stunning. There's also restaurants upstairs in Union Station there, so you can pick up some food to eat, or you can eat before, or if you've just arrived, you can grab something to eat before moving on. So there's really a lot at this station. You're going to want to get there a little bit early because you're going to want to walk around and just I mean, we took a bunch of pictures. If you've been to our blog, you see a lot of pictures on there, or like on Instagram or something. But we took a lot of pictures at Union Station in Chicago because it was just beautiful.
There are a few hotels around there that they're not as close as Embassy Suites Seattle to the King Street, but there's maybe within walking distance. It depends on how far you want to walk. But we have those listed on the blog as well, so check those out if you want. And then the other station we'll talk about is the Portland Station.
Yeah, so the Portland Station is really another one of those kind of cool classic. The outside looks really cool with that big kind of clock tower on the outside of it. It's a beautiful station. It's in the Pearl District, which is kind of the new cool place to be, right? And you see that as you're pulling into the station, all of the gorgeous new apartment buildings right around there. So there really is a lot going on there near Portland Union Station.
And the Portland Station does have a Metropolitan Lounge, which is kind of a new, modern looking, it's pretty well appointed Metropolitan Lounge as far as they go. So don't miss that if you're going to be traveling in or out of Portland.
And like you mentioned, none of these 3 stations are near the airport, so you do have to plan accordingly. If you either have to catch a plane or you're trying to rent a car or whatever the case may be, they're not real close, so you'll have to arrange for either a taxi or Uber, or if you know somebody who can take you. Just kind of keep that in mind.
When planning out a vacation that includes the Empire Builder, you have a lot of great options. As we mentioned, the Empire Builder does go to Chicago, and Chicago links the entire West Coast to the East Coast. You can really go anywhere in the Amtrak system from Chicago. So what we did was we did a 14-day trip where we took the Empire Builder from Seattle to Chicago, then took the California Zephyr back from Chicago to San Francisco, Emeryville, and the Coast Starlight up to Seattle. So we did that in 14 days. And in each major city, we rented a car and drove around and saw some national parks and such. So you could do a lot of things with the Empire Builder. You could go to New Orleans, on the city of New Orleans once you get to Chicago. Or you could keep going, as one of the passengers we were riding with did. Went from Seattle to Chicago, and then from Chicago all the way to New York City.
Right.
So you could do all the way across the country, or you could do some type of loop. So if you want to find out more about all those other routes, go to the trip planning section on the blog, and it'll tell you, all your options for what you can do. But it's a really good train to link up with some other trains.
Yes, and one of the questions too outside of that a lot of people ask us is about safety on Amtrak. Is Amtrak safe? The short, quick answer, yes, it is safe. We've been on it, as we've mentioned numerous times, never had any problems. We have seen problems arise and issues come up, but those are taken care of really quickly, very swiftly. If you're coming on the train and you're looking to make trouble, you're not going to last very long, and you're not going to make it to where you want to go, because the attendants and the conductors are constantly, literally just constantly walking through. So you see them all the time, right? Just all the time walking through there, and they're paying very close attention. Now, there are some things that you can do that's going to make things even better for you, safer, easier, and less hassles to think of. And the first thing is to make sure to check your bag when you get on the train. So if you get on at a station where you can check your bag, definitely do that. One less thing to worry about. Yes, there are luggage racks on the train and in the sleeper cars, but you don't want to have to worry about, is my bag okay? Are there any problems? You're not going to need the stuff that's in your big bag, so just go ahead and check it and just keep minimal things with you. The stuff that you bring onto the train with you, keep those small. You're not going to have a ton of spaces if you're in coach, and you're going to have to try to keep track of it. You can't just leave your things at the seat. In some countries you can leave your things behind. You cannot do that in the U.S. So you want to take those things with you. And if you're in a sleeper car, you're not going to have a ton of space in your accommodations. So you don't want to have a ton of stuff with you, because that's less space for you to move around in, right?
Right. Yeah, if you're in coach, our biggest recommendation is just bring a backpack or something like that you can have everything valuable in. And then when you go to the observation car or you go get food, you can just put that backpack on and carry it with you. You want to have your wallet, your purse, your passports, anything. Keep that stuff with you, your phone. And a little backpack will do that perfectly for you. Everything else, if you have a food bag or some other stuff, you can just leave that at your seat. Just don't leave anything super valuable just laying around on the train. And another question we get a lot is, how do you actually book these tickets? So there's 3 ways you can do it. You can go to Amtrak.com. You can book right on there. But a lot of people don't like the Amtrak.com website because it can be confusing. Then the second way you can book is on the app, which most people think is less confusing. So if you don't like the website, download the app on your phone. You can book right on there. And if neither of those work for you, you can just call them. So call 1-800-USA-RAIL, and you can talk to them and book your ticket. So we've done it all 3 ways. All 3 have been fine, and got our tickets whichever way we did it. So
didn't really have any problems at all. What I did like about booking through the app, though, which is probably my favorite way to book through the app, is you get your ticket QR codes are right in there, and so it's all just saved under your trips, and you don't have to worry about trying to find emails and things like that. It's just very easy right there on your phone to keep track of.
Yeah, the app is really pretty good.
Yes.
So the Empire Builder is definitely a trip that surprised us. We weren't sure what we were getting, but we ended up getting amazing views that we thought were pretty spectacular. And it's just a great way to see a part of the country that you may never have traveled through.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like on this video. If you have any questions, if you will send those to us down here in the comment section, that's where we look the most. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us is by leaving comments down there below, so we can see those and others can see them too, because if you have questions, other people have the same questions too, and it's going to be helpful to other people if you share your questions in the comment section. Don't forget to visit also the description box. That's going to have all the links to the videos that we mentioned below. And don't forget to visit the blog. We'll see you guys soon.